Well, hi there, it is I, your favorite morbid tart, bringing you the stalest, moldiest, oldest news from our dark, creepy past. For over a century, the Ripper's identity has been as elusive as the fog that covers Whitechapel, in our dark imaginations at least. But has that mist finally parted, and has the Butcher of Bucks Row been unmasked at last? Well, let's find out.
Morbid History.
So, let's begin in the beginning by setting the scene. The year was 1888, Whitechapel, London. It was a dark and squalid place, a breeding ground for crime, despair, and some would rightly say a few monsters. Between August and November of that year, 5 poor women would meet a gruesome end at the hands of a faceless predator, a shadow that lurked in the cobbled alleys of Whitechapel. Their names? Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, and Mary Jane Kelly. These poor women, very tragically unbeknownst to them, would become synonymous with one of history's most infamous murder sprees. The killer was never caught. Letters, real and forged, flooded the newspapers. The moniker of Jack the Ripper thus became legend. The tale of Jack the Ripper has continued to haunt the minds of many, well, almost everyone at some point, and has done so for over 130 years. And of course, with that comes an abundance of theories and dozens of suspects. Some say the Ripper was a Montague Druid, a barrister with a troubled past. Some even point the finger at beloved writer Lewis Carroll, claiming that if words are thrown around a bit in one of his writings, you get a clear confession. Others whisper that it was none other than a royal physician, Sir William Gull. But these royal links don't end there. The most intriguing theory of all, was the Ripper himself a member of the British royal family, hidden behind the mask of a high-born prince, such as Prince Albert? But even with all these grand theories, it has never actually been solved, as we all know. Until now, maybe? Well, some say it has. Enter Kosminski. A man once thought to be just one of the lost souls roaming around Whitechapel. Aaron Kosminski. A Polish barber, a man living in squalor, seemingly no different from the hundreds of other nameless faces in Whitechapel streets. But could this simple man have been the fiend who tore through the alleys, leaving only terror in his wake? So, of course, now we're all asking ourselves, who was this Aaron Kosminski? Before he came a name whispered in suspicion, he was just another immigrant coming for a better life, trying to survive over there in London's East End. Born in 1865 in Poland, he arrived in England with his whole family, part of a wave of Jewish refugees fleeing persecution. They finally settled in Whitechapel, where Aaron found work as a barber. By most accounts, he was very, very deeply troubled. He came from a very toxic and destructive childhood. And when he grew older, his family started to note his increasing instability, his paranoia, and very erratic behavior, such as one time trying to cancel his sister's life with a knife. He was described with such words as morose and delusional. prone to hallucinations and episodes of incoherent speech. One of these delusions was that something told him that he could not take food from someone else's hand, so he would eat from the gutter. Yum! As the years went on and he got older, his mental decline only worsened, leading to him eventually being committed into an asylum, where he would spend a few days in and out over the years until his final incarceration in 1889, where he remained till his own dearly departure in 1919. Our man Aaron Kosminski's name first appeared in police records years after the murders had actually ended. By then, he was finally identified as a suspect by high-ranking officials. Assistant Commissioner Sir Robert Anderson wrote this in his memoirs. Undiscovered murders are rare in London, and Jack the Ripper crimes are no exception. We had a definite suspect, and the only thing preventing us from securing a conviction was the refusal of the key witness to give evidence. That suspect, many believe, was actually Aaron Kosminski. And the reason why that key witness was very against pointing out Aaron was because he did not want to put another Jewish man's life on his hands, like his blood on his hands. That would be terrifying, I guess. So he just went ahead and chose not to. Cool. Let's just forget all those women who dearly departed there. Another memoranda written in 1894 further described Aaron as thus: a Polish Jew and resident of Whitechapel. This man became insane owing to many years of indulgence in solitary vices. He had a great hatred of women, especially of prostitutes, and had a strong homicidal tendency. We can all agree that that all sounds pretty sad and bad, but what else do we actually have as concrete evidence to tie Aaron to the terrifying crimes that occurred there? Beyond him living in the same part of the city and him being deranged, of course. Kosminski's mental health and derangement wasn't of an easy kind. They were on the extreme spectrum. Medical reports have described him as incoherent at times and excited and violent. He was also found to be uncooperative, withdrawn, irritable, resentful, and hostile. One doctor wrote, "He is guided and his movements altogether controlled by an instinct that informs his mind." But was he capable of cancelling people's life subscriptions all willy-nilly? As we already stated, some police officials certainly thought so. But don't we need more? How can we even come to this grisly conclusion? Well, through the cutting-edge science of DNA analysis in recent years, of course. A method so modern it would break the heads of the Victorian minds. Enter a blood-stained shawl. Recovered from the scene of Catherine Eddowes' cancellation, this became the key to this dark puzzle. DNA from the shawl matched that of a living relative of Aaron Kosminski. So now we might have a shawl seemingly forgotten in the mists of time. Is this really the smoking gun we've all been waiting for?
She's all fucked up! Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Not so fast. The so-called key piece of evidence, this shawl, apparently found with Catherine Eddowes and has DNA linking to the Kosminski bloodline. It all sounds super damning, of course, when you put in all the other pieces of evidence that we have lurked out from the shadows, of course. Turns out, this very shawl was never officially even recorded as evidence. There is nothing that points to this shawl or piece of fabric ever having been close to the murder scene. It also, during its little lifetime as evidence, changed hands multiple times. So just a tangled mess of speculation and very poor preservation. And very likely it would have been contaminated at some point with pretty much anything. So could the match be nothing more than a statistical coincidence? Many forensic experts argue that the evidence simply is not strong enough to close the case once and for all. So, we ask ourselves, was Aaron Kosminski truly the Ripper? Many say that he's their favorite suspect, and there's plenty of things pointing in his general direction. So now, yet again, we ask ourselves, was Aaron Kosminski truly the Ripper? Or has history just tangled him into the case out of pure confusion from one report to the other, burying any kind of truth beneath a century of speculation? It's not an easy question to answer. We can only ask ourselves, is the mystery solved? Or has the fog simply shifted to reveal a different set of shadows? And yeah, Kosminski, the Polish barber, is he really the answer we've been waiting for? But, of course, for now, the case remains, as ever, a cold case and very open. Please let me know down below, do you have a favorite suspect in this case? And do you think that it will ever actually be solved? Or will it just remain a puzzling, dark mystery of true crime forever and ever and beyond? Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment, like, and hit the bell. It really helps the algorithm. And a giant hecking thanks to all my heroes, my members here on YouTube and my Patreon, where you can find some exclusive content. And also, sometimes I post videos first there, so you get like an exclusive first view, I guess. Either way. Stay amazing, stay hydrated, and most of all, stay morbid, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye!